Hi, Govan, and welcome to the Tolkien Lore Channel. I'm the Tolkien Geek, and this video is pretty much entirely an ad, but let me tell you, you're going to want to listen because this is something special, and if you haven't already heard about this, you're going to want to. So, Jordan Rannells, and I just realized I'm not 100% sure I know how to pronounce his last name, so I apologize if I got that wrong, is the editor for the Prancing Pony Podcast, one of the bigger podcasts in the Tolkien world. And he has developed a complete soundscape for The Lord of the Rings. And when I say soundscape, I do not mean soundtrack. I mean it's got music, sound effects, everything. And most interestingly, it is basically timed perfectly to coincide with Andy Serkis's audiobook of The Lord of the Rings. So it's not just random stuff put together to match chapters. It's actually timed with the story, so listening to it, you can actually pretty much pick up on where you are in the story if you've read the book enough to know the events that occur in order. So there's a lot of things you can do with this. Obviously, one of the things that I am really keen to try it out with is eventually I'm going to read The Lord of the Rings to my kids, and I might just have this as a background for whenever I do my read of The Lord of the Rings. So that's one way you could do it. You could put it on as a backdrop to Andy Serkis's audiobook, or just when you're reading the book yourself quietly to yourself. You might need to slow down your reading a little bit to make that work ideally. Or you could just have it as background for other things like D&D, playing, Lord of the Rings related games, whatever. But he's, let me listen to a few samples of the actual soundscape, and you can find some on YouTube. I'll have some links to those in the description below. And I gotta say, it's really impressive. It's pretty much all digital, but it's done with Dolby Atmos, so it's really, really high quality. In fact, I had to ask him at some point, like, are the vocals in here real or is that digital? And he's like, no, it's digital, but I have a really good sample library. So it's really, really high quality stuff. And some of the samples he played for me are different than what you'll get in the YouTube links that I've got in the description. But every one that I listened to, I was like, yep, I know exactly where I am in the book right now. So it really does fit as almost a storytelling device in and of itself. And so if you're just wanting to have something in the background but really keen on listening to the Lord of the Rings story in some way, this is a great way to do that. Now, the story for this started last year on Tolkien Reading Day in 2022, which is when he launched his Kickstarter for the project. And he released the Fellowship of the Ring soundscape this Tolkien Reading Day in 2023, and the Two Towers soundscape is coming out this weekend, May 20th, and through June 10th only, if you want to purchase any of this stuff, you can get it with a couple of discount codes that he's got given for my listeners. If you want to purchase the entire thing, which you can do in advance because he hasn't completely finished Return of the King yet, but if you want to purchase the entire thing, you can get 25% off with the code LORE25, or for individual books, you can get 10% off with LORE10. So if you're interested, definitely go check that out. The link to actually purchase it will also be in the description below, and I think there's free samples on the purchase page too, but there's at least the YouTube links below. I think he told me he plans to release the Return of the King soundscape by September 22nd of 2023, so just in time for Hobbit Day, of course. And then in December, he's planning to launch another Kickstarter for The Hobbit and maybe The Silmarillion. So, be ready for that, because that will also be super cool. But this is, as I told him, one of the coolest things that I have heard about in terms of Tolkien in a while, and that's saying something. Short of The Nature of Middle-earth being released, this is maybe one of the most exciting things that I've heard about in a while, because, this is just, as somebody who wants to read the book aloud, because I think really that's probably the best way to get the story, having this kind of background music and sounds would be so awesome, because that, reading it aloud is one thing, and even doing a really good dramatic read is one thing, but to then have a fuller audio experience to go along with that, it's, like, in my opinion, almost the best way to adapt the story is to have a dramatic read aloud with music and ambient sounds in the background, giving kind of the full experience. So to get it, you could either listen through a podcast app or just download the actual files. So listening to it is going to be pretty easy no matter how you want to do it. And if, like I said, if you're interested, definitely go check it out. Link will be in the description below. If you are at all interested, give it a look, and remember those 2 codes. If you purchase just a single book, Soundscape, 10% off with Lore 10. For the full thing, all 3 books, Lore 25 will get you 25% off. I am getting, a form of payment for doing this video, so, I want to be upfront about that. But frankly, this thing is awesome, and I love to promote this regardless. So definitely go give it a listen to the samples, and I promise you will be impressed. And like I said, just use those coupons if you want to get it, because this is great stuff. You could use it for all kinds of things, and I am really looking forward to using it myself. So, unusual video, but I hope this really gets you excited, and I will see you on the next one. Namarie. Thanks to all my channel supporters, especially Elf Friends PA Brew News, Nathan Dufour, and Paul Leone.